calls for changes in ride sharing. The North Texas lawyer leading the charge and how companies are responding.
You're watching NBC5 News at 10.
Ride sharing is now part of everyday life in North Texas, but tonight there is an urgent call for safety changes. It comes after an Uber driver was arrested, accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl from Frisco. A Dallas attorney not connected to the case says more must be done to protect passengers. Here once again is Allie Spilliards.
In a Plano parking lot, police say an Uber driver sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl, picked up in Frisco to be transported to therapy. It's behavior the company called monstrous in a statement to NBC5. In 2022, Uber deactivated another driver from its platform after Dallas police arrested him for sexually assaulting an SMU student. Recent cases that Dallas attorney Quentin Brogdon says are just the tip of the iceberg.
And unfortunately, the rideshare companies have been aware of this problem for many years.
Brogdon has represented victims in at least 15 cases of alleged rape or sexual assault by rideshare drivers, prompting him to call for better safeguards.
Uber and Lyft have mounted a concerted campaign over the last 7 to 8 years to write laws for legislators that are written by and for Uber and Lyft, that have one purpose and one purpose only: to protect Uber and Lyft and to inoculate them from any legal responsibility when bad things happen.
It's a claim Uber responded to by pointing us to a safety report released for 2019 and 2020. In it, the company says Uber continues to prioritize robust screening processes and technology to help strengthen the safety of our platform, highlighting the fact that more than 500,000 prospective drivers did not make it through screening processes of motor vehicle records and criminal history background checks. The safety report also states that 99.9% of rides in 2019 and 2020 ended without incident. Still, 4,000 cases of sexual assaults were reported during that time, a number Uber says was down from years prior, and that includes riders as the accused party in more than 40% of the cases. But during the last legislative session, Brogdon testified in front of Texas lawmakers saying more must be done. He argued against a law that protects rideshare companies from legal action in many cases, as their drivers are independent contractors. He's also concerned with a law passed in 2017 that requires background checks for drivers but not fingerprinting.
Fingerprinting is the gold standard according to the FBI because dates of birth, social security numbers, and other things can be too readily faked.
It's legislation that both companies championed at the time, with Uber calling it a statewide framework for ride sharing that will help bring greater economic opportunity and expanded access to safe, reliable transportation options. Lyft said it was a tremendous step forward. In response to a request about this story, Lyft pointed to a newly released Women Plus Connect feature that matches women and non-binary drivers with more women and non-binary riders. Its most recent safety report shows about 1,000 sexual assaults in 2022, 1 out of every 520,000 rides. Still, Brogdon says he'll continue to fight.
The problem is if you're one of those 1% who are a victim of sexual assault or some other bad act, whether it's robbery or anything else at the hands of an Uber or Lyft driver, the fact that 99% of other rides ended with no event is of scant comfort to you.
In Dallas, Allie Spilliards, NBC5.